Hello, good morning, viewers. We are back again on another edition of QTV. This morning, I am Ibrahim Abalde. Thank you very much for always following this program. This is the Wednesday edition, and wherever you are, we are saying thank you for always following this program. And we'll take a look at the African code for today too, and Mr. Ade will do the newspaper review. And of course, we'll be having Imam Usman Jah, and our topic would be marriage today, sunnah or social pressure. So that's what the topic for Islamic perspective will be today. And the co-host of this program is Bala Musa Krubali, and he celebrates his birthday today. Happy birthday, Bala.
Happy birthday, Bala.
Thank you very much. Not too keen celebrating birthdays, you know. My phone just reminded me when I was in here. I was like, oh, it's my birthday today. Anyway, thank you. Good morning to our viewers. Good to be here again. I think I've not been here for a whole week. Huh?
That's right.
That's good to be here, and always a pleasure to share the platform with Mr. Ade.
A pleasure to have three wise men.
I mean, thank you very much. We'll delve straight to the African code. A liar will not be believed when he speaks.
No, even when.
Even when he speaks the truth.
Mm.
Yeah, even when he speaks the truth. If I smash this mug now, can I couple it back manually? Can it work? Can I put,
maybe you
have a liquid in it?
Maybe you have magic powers.
Until and unless if I can do magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if I smash this mug now,
Yeah.
I will never be able to put it together manually again.
So
Absolutely.
that's
trust for you.
your. It's about trust, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think it's a straight answer. You know, this just tells you no matter what you do, just be honest. You know, be truthful.
Sure.
That is the key in whatever you do, no matter how difficult it is. Like sometimes you'll hear people will say, you know, the truth is bitter, it's painful, but you just peel it.
Yeah.
You have to, you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes we say a good lie sometimes is better than a truth that will destroy. Others will say that. But for me, I just think one should just be honest and straightforward in whatever you do.
Sure.
Because sometimes you notice you might say something to someone thinking maybe it's a joke or you are just trying to fix a situation. Later, when they find out that what you said or what you did was all a lie, the next time you talk to them, they won't take you serious.
Yeah.
And we see that happen. Sometimes people will stuck and they say, hey, it's not true. Like I was having this conversation on Sunday in my neighborhood. They were talking about the 2016 impasse.
Okay.
You know, when Jammeh announced on TV that he was not going to accept the results,
Okay.
you know. So one of my neighbors said to me, you know, when Jammeh mentioned that, we were not watching TV, we were all here chatting because, you know, Jammeh had accepted the results and all that.
Yeah,
so there was this lady who came and said to us, Jammeh just announced on TV that he is not going to step down. And they were like, hey, you know, this lady, they didn't take her serious because he's like that person, you know, according to them.
Yeah,
so they didn't take her serious.
Yeah,
until when they watched the replay at 10, that was when they all like, oh, so she said so. Imagine, so what that can go. So as something as serious as that, she's mentioned it and she wasn't taken seriously. You know, so sometimes some of these little things you do is what breaks trust.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely right. I mean, there's the old parable story that they tell, the boy who cried wolf. He wanted to scare everybody and he would cry, wolf, 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 there's a wolf coming. Everybody would run. So, of course, the day when the wolf did come, nobody moved.
Yeah.
They like him again with his jokes.
And that was catastrophic.
Catastrophic because, as you said, the trust had been broken. And we've all done it and sometimes, and I always say this to parents when you know, I'm advising that now that I'm an old man, I advise younger relatives or you know, friends. And I say, look, when you have children, my father and my mother, they were always very honest with us. Because sometimes something that you say in a kind of throwaway way to a child, they remember it.
Absolutely.
You just say, oh, you know, if you pass your exams, I'll buy you, da, da, da. And then they pass the exam and then you say, oh, you said, and then you said, I don't remember. Trust me, those things, don't do them. Don't, even in that casual way, don't lie to children.
Yeah.
And, you know, and teach your children to be honest,
Yeah.
you know, because it will benefit them
So
later in life.
what you have to understand, you cannot fool the people all the time. You understand? There'll be a time when you will be telling the truth and nobody, you know, it's going to believe you. So one thing you have to know, okay, I'm not saying to lie to people is okay, but there are other people that, you know, you should not even try lying to them.
Yeah.
You understand? Because at the end of the time, there are people that, you know, probably when you lie to me once, when you come back and lie again, I might believe you. But when you lie to Bala Musa or you lie to Mr. Adedrame, you know, they will never believe you, even if it's once, you understand?
And sometimes in a work situation, you could have, I remember I worked in one of my jobs, there was a guy that everybody, he was our big boss, they were scared of him. I was never scared of him. And they would, sometimes something terrible had happened, and they would try and hide it. And I used to say to them, if he finds out, he'd be even more angry.
Absolutely, yeah.
Than if you tell him the truth that, look, we made a mistake and this happened. And then one day, it really did explode. And he was screaming the place down.
Yeah.
And I just kind of sat in my desk. I'm like, what did I tell you guys? Try and be honest.
You know, I just want to, let us establish the reason why people lie. It's important. Before we talk about lying, let's talk about why people lie. Because I have not seen any reason why a person should lie to an individual, no matter what happened.
No, but you just mentioned it. You said, let's establish the reasons. So obviously there are reasons.
What are the reasons?
There are some people, let's say, you put lies in different folds. For me, others could be lies, but also you can relate it also to, so a lot of people say natally. I don't know how to put that in, I don't know how to say it in English.
Grapevine.
Let's
call it grapevine.
There was a British MP who coined this phrase, which then people started using. He said, I didn't lie. I was just economical with the truth. And what he was trying to say was that I didn't tell the whole story.
Yeah.
So I don't consider that I lied.
He was polishing.
The story was half.
You tell half, because if you tell half and that half is true.
Half is dangerous.
Well, this is it. You know?
Yeah.
And essentially, and that phrase has now become, you know, people started using it in a kind of ironic way.
There is always.
Bala, you were coming at a point. I want to know why people lie.
No, the thing is, because when you look at it, there are some people who like to show off.
Boasting, tantalizing.
They like it.
They blow their
fake
trumpet,
lies,
yes.
you know, and they lie. In that process, you have to lie because you live a life that is, the life itself that you live is a lie.
Fake life is
so
dangerous.
Everything that you do is a lie. Come on, we know people who will come and be like, oh, I did this, I did that, I did that. Then, you know, you keep saying those things and people don't see them. So next minute you come and you're saying, you know, people will not, they will not stop you.
They won't stop.
They'll be like, yeah, but when you go, they'll be like, oh, guy, he's just a liar. He's just, you know, those things happen.
Yeah,
I also related to this natally sort of like, okay, I will come to Ade and tell Ade something very personal. Ade will then go and tell someone he trusts.
Go on.
And that person will go and tell someone else he trusts.
Your friend is
so
my
Balde,
friend.
Yes, Balde also will come and tell Ade and Ade. So now, I'll be like, Balde, be careful that anything you tell Ade,
person,
he will go and say it. So that also is connected to lying because it's like, even though what you're telling them is not a lie, it's true about someone, but the fact that you're spreading it is a lie. Now you're trying to create like kind of a perception or an opinion that should not be out there for people to see. So all these things are...
So sometimes it's about trust, but there's a crucial time because you said that why, and it depends on the situation. So for example, considering I know that you are somebody with a very hot temper, and you come and ask me, is it true that Bala Musa said that I stole $500,000? I know if I say yes, you're going to go and kill him. Am I going to say yes? No, I'm not. I'm going to lie and said, nah, Bala wouldn't say such a thing.
You see,
that's a lie.
Is there a good lie?
That's a good lie because I've saved somebody's life and I've saved you from going to prison.
There are lies that, you know, when you say them, you know, I think a good lie is better than, you know, a truth.
That's what they say, a bitter truth. That's what they say. They say a good lie is better than a bitter truth sometimes. But anyway.
So
it's a cover. But at the end of time, when everything, I mean, transpired the way it should go, you should go back and tell them, I said this because I wanted it this way. I wanted good for you.
Yeah, because I could, for example, in the example I just gave, maybe a week later when you've calmed down and you know, you saying, you know, you're no longer hot and angry. I might say to you, yeah, okay, you did ask me that. And in just being honest with you, yeah, he did say that. But come on, you know, people say, you know, to kind of soften it,
Yeah.
because I then admit to the fact that I lied to you, because you know I want to keep the friendship, because I don't want you to find out later that I did lie to you, because you know I want to keep the friendship. But then you might realize, okay, this guy realized I was hot, I was angry, and maybe that's why he lied to me, because maybe he saved me from doing something that I would regret.
But you see how you connected that. You lied to save a situation or to prevent something from happening, something bad, escalating.
Yeah.
But later, you came to split, you know, to the beans, to say the truth. You know, you came with the truth.
No, you
but imagine if you had not, you know, come
if I don't come back.
come back and, you know, say the truth and all that, something else will happen, and then the person realizes that what you said earlier was a lie.
That's it.
And then the trust there is gone.
It's gone.
The next time you say something, the person will not take you
And,
serious.
and the worst lie is lying to your partner.
In a relationship, absolutely.
Yes, I think
That
it's
one,
important.
that
It's,
is
it's
the-
also the
for
worst
you
and
to
probably
be-
the most
for you to be
frequent.
very
Yeah,
truthful.
yeah,
You see,
absolutely.
when you are in a relationship, you have to be very realistic.
Yeah.
What you cannot. What you can, you do according to your means.
Well, there's something that there's this saying in Mandinka. They say, I don't know if the Wolofs use it, but Mandinkas and Fullers use it.
Yeah.
They just say,
Yeah.
that is, it's a lie that will get you a wife, but it's the truth that will keep her in your house.
But you know, my Fulani people will say that, but I tend to disagree with them. Sometimes it's difficult. I think when you find a wife with lies, you know, and you want to go and maintain that wife, it will be very difficult. I think from the initial stage, it needs to be.
You know,
Look, we're human beings, and you're right. I mean, without revealing our most personal details, some of the relationships that I've been involved in, they've broken down because of matters of trust.
Of course, it will happen.
Either on that person's side or on my side. And you know, if we're honest, we have to admit that that's why some relationships break down.
for me, I think the bottom line is no matter what you do,
trust.
no matter what you do, just be honest and very truthful.
I'll tell you
know,
something.
yeah.
Let no one put you in a situation of lies.
Absolutely.
You
Just be
understand?
truthful and honest.
When the old man gave the boy 10 pieces, and the boy gave me 6 pieces, you understand? And when the old man called me, and he said, I gave them 10 pieces. And I said to the old man, you know, how many pieces did you get? He said 10. And I called the boy. He said, he gave me 6 pieces. I said to him, no, it's 10. You have to put the 10. Because if he asks me, I'm going to tell him, you put 6. You understand? So sometimes you have to blast people that are dishonest, you know, so that they will not be dishonest again, you know. Yeah, so viewers will take a short break. After the break, the program, it's going to continue. We'll be back. We are broadcasting from the Gambia, West Africa. If you're just tuning in, and thanks to those that follow us on our social media handles. I mean, Brother Banki in Madrid, Spain, he follows this program, and Brother Ibrahim Jawara, you know, he also followed this program very well. My brother Ibrahim Jawara, man, send PPP. I'm not seeing any activity. What's happening to the PPP executive? I mean,
this is an election year.
He will come if I say something about PPP.
Exactly.
He will send me a message and tell me, Tom, we are coming.
Now that he has, which is interesting because if you allow me, we can go to the Point newspaper.
Yeah. So okay. All
and
right.
it's an important one.
All right. Let's go
yeah,
ahead.
please. And it says IEC declares 2016 voters cards null and void. So I was going to ask which voters card do you have?
2016.
2016 voters cards are null and void. You cannot use them in the 2026 election.
Okay, all right. Because I used
So
my
which do you have?
2016 voters card to vote in 2021.
Yes.
Yeah. So I cannot
can't
use it
again.
now.
Yeah.
Like that system, yeah.
So
but even when you mentioned that, I can remember the IEC guy was like, "Are you sure that happened?" Because
probably I missed the registration, but
yeah,
I
because
believe
he's like
shouldn't have been allowed.
that's what he said.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
that's what he said.
Mine was acquired in 2016. So
no, but maybe you registered in 2021.
Without,
maybe you registered because the system
remembering.
that was a new system that they came. Like that's what he said. though the one from 2016 cannot be used.
Even for the 2021.
Yeah, 2021. So they had a new system. That was not like, this one is like, how do they call it? It's like
biometric
the registration now is for those who...
Oh, the current one?
Supplementary, thank you. But that was not a supplementary, that was like
that was a proper
registration.
Yeah, I think I will have to verify that.
Yeah.
But I am pretty sure.
And anyone else who's watching, because it's important.
I will verify it because I am pretty sure my voter's card was acquired in 2016.
I'll have to check mine.
Yeah, I will check my voter's card again. Maybe if I can surf through my phone, I'll be able to see it.
You didn't get that. I said I will have to check mine. And the reason I say it is because of all the noise I hear on social media about foreigners voting
and all that.
Just so you know, I don't have citizenship. I can't vote here.
And yeah, like you said, even yesterday, I was listening to this guy, the National Assembly member for Latrikunda Sabiji. You know, he's making comments about a political party, even though we all know he was throwing shades, but we know where he was, you know, throwing shades. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
he said, there's this political party that goes around to different polling stations trying to harass people to say you are foreigners, you are that and that. So if people come to polling stations or to registration centers with a valid document, whether it's attestation, ID or passport, you don't have any right to stop them. No, it's only the registration IEC officials who can look at the documents and say you are not eligible based on what is law. Yeah. Based on the law.
That's right.
You know, they cannot just choose their own discretion, or you go there harassing people, telling them you cannot vote because you are a foreigner. How can you just look at someone and say you're a foreigner? Maybe someone came from Sierra Leone in early 2000, have been in the Gambia. In 2026 now, maybe the person have gotten a citizenship.
That's right.
You don't know. You know, so some of those things, fine, it's good for the political parties to go there, observe, see what is happening. But the most important thing is just allow everything to be done according to law.
I 100% agree with you, because I have friends who belong to some of these parties and we have heated arguments about this. And I always say to them, bring your evidence. I'm not listening to your hearsay. Somebody told me this, show me the evidence or belt up about it. And you know, it keeps coming up. So please, if you have 2016 voter's card, you cannot.
Yeah, I am trying to go through, but I did not see it. I believe mine was acquired in 2016. Okay. So I will look at it. I'll verify. If at all it's that, I'll say it.
So let's also on Foroya.
Yes.
It's saying the government yet to return. Is it Nyangen? Stamp Nyagen stamp 8 days after it was taken from the Alcalo.
So this was taken and it led to a lot of reaction from social media, brouhaha. And I think a lot of people hadn't even bothered to delve into the case. They just reacted, a kind of gut reaction. This is wrong, this is bad, etc. So I even read just before we came on a very long piece that somebody wrote on one of the online forums. But when you look into it, and even if you just read the press release from the government, it says there was an investigation conducted. It included the governor, it included officials, and it included the very Alcalo, who admitted to the investigation that he had given the stamp to somebody he should not have given it to. I don't think anybody bothered reading that far down. They just, his stamp has been seized. If you admit that you gave it to somebody, the son, that you should not have given it to, why then are people saying?
You see, when I was among the people that was against it, you know, but someone called me in the office and put the facts in front of me, and I accepted the truth.
No, but the point here is the Alcalo is the one that should be the one handling the stamp.
He should be the custodian.
There are people, custodian of the stamp, thank you. But there are people who are mixing apples and oranges here.
Or apples and oranges
here.
Yeah, quite.
They say, they take example of communities where the Alcalo stamp is with the son or with the brother. But what they say, most of the time, what they use is because the Alcalo is too old and cannot see or cannot write, so the Alcalo will then give the responsibilities to the son or the brother.
Yeah, quite.
Understandable.
Quite.
But in this case, the Alcalo is not sick. He is not too old.
Thank you.
The Alcalo is fine, healthy, and sound. So why is he giving this stamp to the son?
In fact, in the case of Basse, when the Alcalo passed away, Nasiru Bari, blessed memory, the son was in custodian, in possession of the stamp. So when everything settled I mean, they declared a new alcalo, that's Momodu Seluba, and everything was handed over.
To that.
So those situations can be accepted.
Yeah. So when I had the discussion with one of my colleagues who is actually doing a piece about this, and people will see it on the news tonight, I said to him, you cannot have people saying the stamp should be handed over back to the son when the father has already admitted that he did so unlawfully.
Yeah.
How does that even make sense? When the very reason that led to the withdrawal of the stamp or the seizure of the stamp has not been addressed, and you're saying hand it over? How, in what planet is that even vaguely sensible?
Yeah.
You know? So, as you said,
So I believe
he's
the
not
government,
infirm, he's
yes.
not senile,
Yeah.
he's not suffering from dementia.
I believe the government knows what they are doing, and they will address the matter accordingly.
And there was a single line. It
Yes.
says, we wish to remind the public that, in fact, the stamp belongs to the state.
Yes. So the no Tatam for Barrow campaign launched in diaspora.
Standard newspaper.
The standard
That's standard newspaper. So,
Yeah, so
yeah, I mean, this is leading to...
when you talk about diaspora,
In diaspora.
yes, when you talk about the diaspora,
NPP, you did not read it all. NPP says nothing will stop him from re-election.
That's
yes.
right.
So when you say diaspora, I mean, that's huge statement. So it's important for you to know, okay, who are the people involved?
No, but you know, if it is lunch, even if it is lunch in Senegal, you can say diaspora.
Yes.
So,
but when you
Yeah.
talk about diaspora, the mental picture that we have is
Yeah.
the whole diaspora.
And I'm
Yeah.
glad you're trying to
Yes.
make that, because
Yes,
next
so-
week there might be a campaign by NPP in the diaspora
For
saying
East
yes to
For
third term.
East Africa.
Yeah.
You know, so when you say the diaspora, don't, you know, it's just we don't even know who these folks are who've launched it. But so yes, let's you know, they don't represent. They're not a parliamentary constituency that represents everybody in the
Yeah.
diaspora. In the diaspora, you have people who are pro-NPP, anti-NPP, and so on.
Of course.
So yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know what is the details, you know,
Yeah.
of the headline there. But one can say, I think they are not stopping Barrow from contesting. I think what they're doing, most of this no to Tatam now, but obviously Barrow will contest. Nothing can stop him.
Yeah, quite.
It's, you know, the constitution is not stopping him. If he wants, he can run for 20 times, no problem.
Yeah, quite.
Unless if we change the constitution or amend the constitution. But I think what these people are doing is a campaign to convince voters not to vote for
give him a
Barrow
third term.
for
Yeah,
a third term. I
exactly.
think that's what they're doing.
Exactly.
But not to say he cannot
He can't
contest
run.
third term.
No.
That's
No, that is not
that's
under their
Because the
jurisdiction.
No, they
constitution
can
is-
debate that.
The
That's
constitution
undebatable.
is clear.
Yeah.
And I think Bala has actually nailed it. What they're essentially saying is that don't give him a third term
Yes.
via the ballot box. You know, and so when you hear people making all the noise, and I'll say this at the point, people who watched QTV for the last 5-6 years are probably fed up of hearing me say this. Jammeh was gotten rid of via the ballot box. Nobody put a gun to his head. There was no coup d'etat that got rid of him. It was the ballot box. So if you think that you don't want this guy, vote him out. That's the way to do it. You know? And that is essentially what they're trying to do. But he also has his supporters in the diaspora who will say yes to a third term.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's yeah.
Yeah, like Balde said, if you say diaspora, like people will be like,
People
oh,
have
okay,
this
there is this diaspora community, a huge one now.
homogeneous
Yeah.
thing, and it's
Maybe it
not.
can just be like a group of 20 or a group
Yeah,
of 1,000.
probably.
Could be two
Maybe-
guys.
maybe-
Could
yeah.
be two guys.
Yeah,
You know.
maybe,
You know, in a
maybe
bedroom.
if,
Yeah.
you're-
And you know, we're news people, so we know some of these headlines.
You
know.
have to.
So
you have to
man
scratch.
remanded for allegedly attempting to kill mother.
Man, remind? Which
Remanded.
paper is that?
It's still the standard.
Okay.
Standard.
Man remanded for allegedly attempting to kill mother.
You know, for us Africans, that's like one of the worst.
Attempting
things.
to kill mother.
I mean, we
Her own
assume
mother,
they
his
mean
own
his.
mother.
We
His
assume
mother.
they mean
Wow.
his own mother.
That's a huge
because
cause.
that's you
In
know
fact,
for,
that's a
for
cause.
us as Africans, that's like the worst thing you can imagine. And you know, some people say surely he must be mad, because we know the kind of role and the kind of reverence that we have towards our mothers, particularly in the kind of African context.
Yeah.
And you know,
It's a
friends-
no-go
We
area.
always say don't generalize, but I think in most African countries you find this kind of, you know, we put our mothers on a certain.
But you know, in there's some things in Africa here most people don't take serious. I know you've lived your life in the West, and you can agree with me on this. In Africa, we don't take mental health and other stuff seriously.
Yeah, quite.
We don't.
Quite.
You know, you can be here with Bala every day talking. Bala will be behaving, but there are certain, like if a psychologist sits with Bala for even an hour, can tell this guy has some mental issues.
Yeah,
but you and I maybe will not know it.
Yeah,
so there are
don't
so
know.
many people here who are going through mental issues. Is not the people who are mad here in the street. No, you can have mental issues in different ways.
Yeah, quite.
You know, you can suffer from mental stress, depression, and all those things, and that can force you to do things that a normal person who is okay will not do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
these are some of the things that when I see some of these things, I relate it to mental health issues and all
So,
that.
you know, Sierra Leone has a population of, I don't know, now 9 million. I don't know what the population has gone up to. Do you know how many psychologists they have to deal with mental issues across the whole of Sierra Leone?
How many of them?
One.
Well, I think...
So
I
not only is there one, everybody knows his name, Dr. Nahim.
Only one.
One.
But Mr. Ade,
No, the Gambia one, I think we have a number. We have quite a good number, I would say.
Looking
I've named him. I think Dr.
looking at
Nahim may have
Sierra
passed,
Leone,
so maybe they have others
looking
now.
at the history of Sierra Leone, at the same time coming from war, you understand?
We weren't always coming from war, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And at the same time, the issues of drugs as well. I mean, having one psychology in the whole of Sierra Leone.
We had Kush problems.
It's
We've
a
had
problem.
the trauma after the war. I spoke to people who were traumatized after the war. And, you know, my brother of blessed memory, I can give him as an example. When he fled after the 6th of January 1999 attack on Freetown, and eventually he made it to London, he came to see me, and then he went to visit our mother, who lived about 5 minutes away. And then, like 6-7 hours later, my mother called me, and she said, "What color car does John drive?" And I said, "It's a red vehicle." She said, "Oh." She said, "I think it's still parked outside. But he said goodbye about 3-4 hours ago." I said, "Are you sure?" So I jumped in my car, drove. I met my brother at the wheel of his car, just crying. And I said, "What's the matter?" And he said, all the killing that he saw on that day just came back to him.
Yeah.
You know? And he was just at the wheel of his car. He couldn't drive. He was sobbing. He had to sleep in London that day and then go back the next day. So those kind of people, that's just one instance that
So
I know of.
those are the people that need
That
mental
need counseling and so on. It just, it's not there.
Yeah, so
And also, Balde, you know, sometimes also, that's why we should be very careful with things that we do around our kids. It's very important. Like you see, that's an older person you're talking about who have seen some of these things and then, you know, thinks about it and it frustrates him or, you know, and it's on his mind mentally, stresses him out. So imagine kids who grow up in, you know, environments or in certain conditions where they see violence like and all that.
Parental abuse.
Or you beat their mother in front of...
They see all those things. So, you know, all those things contribute, you know, in the future, you know, towards the person's life, So that's why as parents, we should be very careful with what we do around our children. We should be very careful. And most of us don't put that into account, but we should
It's important. So a man remanded for allegedly attempting to kill mother. There was an incident. I will never forget that. I was sitting in the sitting room watching TV. We were watching this American movie. When the young boy said to the mother, "Mommy, that's not true." You know that? I was sitting with my mom, like, when I looked, she took a shoe and she threw it at me. You understand? For just hearing that. Imagine if you want to try other things, you're going to die. An African mother will kill you.
African parents, we don't play with that.
Yes. So let's still move on. Reparations Commission resume medical board operations for Jammeh era victims.
Yes, that's one that is made a few of the newspapers. It's also in the Observer, slightly different headline, but the same story. Reparations Commission announces resumption of medical board. So those who have medical conditions that have, you know, as a result of being victims, they're now going to assess them and so on. And some have already had payments out. Quite a few $1 million have been paid out already. I know this because I was sitting next to Sierra Ndao at an event of ANECED, and she was telling me about some of the payments. But they're pushing for more and greater payments. So it's good that this is resumed, and we hope that you know, people can get particularly financial and medical help that they need.
Yeah, because some of them, the finances you will give them might not be enough to treat, their illnesses or whatever they went through.
And some of them, just picking up on what you said earlier, in fact, it just came to me as we're talking about this, about things that we see or hear. One of the things that Sierra said was that some of these people, their psychological problems are so strong that if they see a person in uniform, they panic. They get a panic attack, and it's almost like they start hyperventilating, and so they don't go out because they're always likely to see somebody in uniform.
Yeah, absolutely.
And somebody like that obviously needs not money, they need psychological help. Yeah. So, these are some of the things, as you said, we tend not to put a lot of effort and resources into these things, but they're important.
Very important.
And I think, as you said, in the Gambia now, we're having more and more people who are able to deal with these things. Some are Gambians who've trained and have come back. Others are, foreigners who are here who can help. But it's an important
So
thing.
government will boycott media that boycotts it, Dr. Ceesay.
So this one is in all the newspapers. So that's the standard version of it. On the Fourier version of it, it says, which is quite interesting, media boycott of government continues, information minister calling for dialogue.
Yes.
So that is a kind of a softer tone on it, and I think it's also in one of the other newspapers, if I can find it quickly. Yes, it says, no amount of campaign will stop regulation, Dr. Ceesay declares. So these are the draft regulations that require people who practice journalism to register with an agency that the government is going to create. And so a lot of people have taken against it. The Gambia Press Union have come out against it. We discussed it yesterday here, and this one is going to rumble on and on. But like anything, like most things, dialogue is what will solve it. Not confrontation.
Yeah. Because I listened to his interview on Coffee Time where he said, the media said they will boycott, government events, government programs and all that. And he also said, if they boycott, media that boycott government program will also be boycott. So let's see who will feel the pinch. So I feel like this should not be like a confrontation.
It shouldn't
be like that, Because this, when you look at it from one part of it, I've spoken to some people who are really against it. So when I listen to what they say, they are not against, I think, the regulation itself. What they are against is government being the regulator. They were like, okay, we have GPU, and GPU have something called the Media Council. Okay, you can have these policies in place, but have the Media Council handle the regulation. Let them implement it. Let them be in charge of it. Not the government creating an agency to be in charge of this. Okay. But how can you get that if there is no dialogue, like you said? So, okay, are you going to continue boycotting government programs, press conferences or whatever it is forever? You cannot. So I think also, the ministry also, even though the minister said, I don't know, they invited GPU, I don't know, and what other organization for a meeting, and they told them
plain. One of the CSOs.
Yeah, they responded to say,
Gambia,
they responded to say they are not going to attend. But I think as government, they should still, reach out. Yeah. They should still reach out, because what they're doing, for me, is more like a misunderstanding. Some of the people I spoke to are really not against it. What they're against is the government being the ones to implement this. Yeah. They want it to be given to GPU or the Media Council to be in charge of. So if you want to do that, that should be dialogue. I think there should be a solution at the end of the day, and the solution is just dialogue. When we dialogue, we'll come to a point where we'll all agree on something.
And to pick up on what you said, when we carried the story, we mentioned in the story that I phoned Dr. Ceesay to say to him, I saw the video, I heard the audio, do you stand by those? He said, yes, you say things in the heat of the moment, and somebody catches it on. He said, but what is at the depth of it is my disappointment that they're not even willing to engage. He said, come and convince me of why this should not be in the in the draft. Don't say reject it 100%. Make your case. And as you rightly say, if you have dialogue, both sides try and make their case to each other, not in separation. Because if you do it without the kind of engagement and the dialogue, and then you say you validated it, you haven't validated
and
it.
And the thing is, it is even in Senegal. It's just that the government is not in charge. It's in Senegal. In other countries, you have to be seen to be a journalist or the press. Even some people said the West it's not there. I'm like, no, in Italy, it's
Italy,
there. I did my research. In
Italy
Portugal
and
also, I saw it. So
Yeah.
it's there. So
Yeah.
dialogue.
Yeah.
You know, I think there could be, a simple solution to this when we come together and have a dialogue.
I mean, I think it makes no sense for the minister to be pushing and people are pushing too. Because we are all working towards one common good. I mean, we should talk. 3 containers, 12 vehicles fraudulently removed from the port.
Yeah, it seems...
Which paper is that?
Standard. And I think this one, somebody just secretly put it in their pocket and walked out. I mean, like, seriously, how do you remove 3 containers fraudulently?
12 vehicles.
3 containers, 12 vehicles.
12 vehicles, you know.
Removed from the port.
Like when you say fraudulently remove, is it that they were cleared without paying what they're supposed to pay?
Fraud.
Or maybe somebody presented
false documents,
documents
something like that,
to get them released, and that's how they were. It's a story like you said about the other one. You'd need to dig deeper and see the kind of the meat of the story. What's it all about? But it seems rather odd.
So let's talk about the issue of the hippo. I mean,
but before the hippo, Balde, this one here for me, I was thinking when the ports was given when it was digitalized everything and gave it to, what's the name of the company? Is it Alport? I don't know.
Yeah, Alport or S.
Is it the Turkish guys. So I was, to be honest, things like this were not things I was expecting, because I'm like, now everything is digital. So anything that will have to, even though I know people who can always get around things and all that, but I was thinking there will be systems where because these things used to happen. We all know these things used to happen. So I'm like, the coming of these people is going to, fix a lot of holes, at least to save the leakages and all that. But seeing this coming up right now, I think there's more to be done then,
I think what they said when they talked about digitalizing everything was that it will minimize it, not eliminate it completely. There's no system in the world
absolutely
where you can say that.
I agree.
And I think they were always very careful to say that. This is about minimizing it and reducing it to 5 or 10% or less or whatever, but you can't say it's going to 100% because people always find ways to get around, and they might have done so.
To beat the system, but I think this would be a learning curve for the management too. They should take a step to prevent future fraudulent
They need
action.
to investigate how did it happen, what were the circumstances, was there collusion by somebody working
before
within
a
the
system
system?
becomes perfect, you must have these kind of problems. You must learn from them. So now, I mean,
you wanted to go into the hippo thing.
The hippo, the issue of the hippo.
Yes.
I mean,
yes. I was reading about the hippo.
So there was a mixed feeling of a hunter that was assigned to kill the mother hippo, because the hippo killed someone. So we do not have enough time for for you. Now I think we'll have to,
Imam is kicking me from the chair.
We'll have to end the program here. So viewers, will be right back after the break. This is QTV This Morning. Now we'll head to the last segment of this program. Imam Ousmane Jah. Imam nanga fe alaman fi si table bi fi. Joxel 5,000 waay.
Pour lan ngir lan
pour ñëw late 5,000 rek.
pour ñëw late.
Waaw.
D'accord nga ma fay la.
Waaw.
Baax na.
Joxel 5,000.
Baax na.
Man waxuma dara de.
Bala xaral 5,000 bi ñëw. Imam billahi su ñëw dama ko jël.
Imam ma waxuma dara de.
waaye Imam 50 nga joxe di.
Déet 1000 lan. waxoo 1000 yi lan la bu tuut.
déedéet man. léegi Imam du ma la.
1000 bu tuut.
léegi moom du ma la bugg di kool.
waxuma waaye man anyway man waxuma.
waaw soo léegi.
du ma ñemee wax.
léegi Imam leetam bi cancel nañ ko. léegi Imam ñu ngi waxtaanee marriage today sunna or social pressure loolu mooy suñ topic bi. sëy tey sunna la ak naka la ko nit ñi jàppee ndax social pressure la kii sëy na rek nga bugg a sëy nga dugga si.
ok balaa ma tàmbali man itam danaa la fine.
ey
10,000. why because topic bi ngay wax ni maa ngi koy door a dégg nii. te jaaduwul
baalal ma boobu rek waaw baalal ma rek boobu ñaan na la baalal ma rek.
Imam 50 bi nga bëgg a jëlaat
boobu baalal ma rek.
bi du gana bi du génn.
waaw Imam fu mu nekk nii waaw dalal ne la baalal ñu rek.
bismillahi rahmani rahim. wa sallallahu wa sallama ala sayyidina wa nabina muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallama tasliman kathira. weltaare ñu ngi lay nuyooti di nuyu suñu boos di Mr Bala di nuyu kër gi yëpp di nuyu réew mi ak biti réew yëpp mboolem ñu ñuy seetaan di am mbégte pour dajewaati ak yéen pour waxtaanee lu yitteel suñu diine yitteel suñu société bii sax relationam jokkoom ak société moo ëpp solo jokkoo gi mu jokkoo ak pure religion waaw yes religion moo ñu sant ñu sëy waaye boo sëyee it naka nga koy manager naka la ñoo manager sëy ba mu neex rafet ànd am na ci loo xam ne lu ci bëri suñ jëfi bopp la although islam generally lim ñu sant mooy ñu ànd bu rafet dama bëgg balaa maa dugg ci topic bi nga waxaatal ma ko lan la topic bi wax
waaw topic bi mu ne marriage today sunna or social pressure
marriage today sunna or social pressure
waaw sunna la
maanaam
or social pressure
ndax su ma ko bëggee firi ci wolof mooy sëyu tey yi ndax nit ñi dañ koy def ngir ne yàllaa leen ko sant ñu di ko def wala social pressure moo tax ñu di ko def
waaw
du loolu moom nga nam
loolu la
jërëjëf waaw xam naa tomb boo xam ne topic boo xam ne defuloo ci sauver danay jafe pour nga jooj ko waaye based on suñ experience liñ understand ci ni ñuy takkee sëy yi ni sëy yi demee ak ya cay juddu mun nañoo wax suñu xalaat ci loolu not ne dafa nekk diine because lii mbiri xalaat la waaye diine fi muy ñëwee mooy suñu demee ba kiy sëy social pressure moo ko ca dugal foofu la diine di taxawee nag against ko ok sëy tey yi dafa mix ba tey am na nit ñoo xam ne seen sëy dëgg-dëgg sunna moo leen dugal ci sëy dañuy jàpp ne dañoo war a sëy ngir mënuñoo contrôle seen nature pour ñàkk mooy yàlla ñu ne dañoo bëgg a sëy walla dama bëgg a sëy ngir dama bëgg a nekk ku responsible xam nga góor feek walla jigéen feek dugguloo ci néegab sëy jàngaguloo luy responsibility waaw responsibility su ko nit di am dafay am lu koy waral maanaam dafa am lu lay war waaw li lay war loolu moo la indi responsibility ok su boobaa ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy sëy tey am na ñoo xam ne loolu moo tax ñuy sëy mooy bañ a mooy yàlla am ñoo xam ne ak itam ndax ma nekk nit ku responsible du ma nekk di dox di taxawaalu parce que nit waxtu wi muy dox daf ko war a def ci luy jëriñ da ngay gis ne góor walla jigéen bu sëyut da nga dee waste time bu bare boo xam ne da nga koy def ci loo amul njëriñ waaye su fekkoon sëy nga commitment boobu dafa tax waxtu bi nga daan sànni nga di ko def ci luy jëriñ ñetteel bi teg ci am na koo xam ne li tax muy sëy mooy dafa bëgg am njaboot te loolu itam moo waral sax sëy yeneen yi ci tegu yëpp dañ ko ci ñambaas maanaam luy ànd ak sëy la comme bànneex bi nga ciy am ak feel responsibility yu demee noonu waaye foundation yi sëy mooy fekk sa bopp ci mooy yàlla ak itam nga am doom walla am doom ak fekk sa bopp ci mooy yàlla bale ngay njëkkee lu tax mooy yàlla daf ñu fi indi pour ñu dundal àddina bi te dundal àddina bi liñ koy defee mooy il faut ñu yokk ñu bare ndax àddina bi dafa yaatu te pour dundal ko ay loxo yu bari ñoo war a jàppalante ñaareel bi teg ci nit ni ko yàlla bindee néecoom mooy soo juddoo néew doole dem ba yàgg ngay am doole nekk waxambaane manal sa bopp lépp loo bëgg a yëkkati loo bëgg a teg loo bëgg a def ko ñuy suñ demee ba mu yàgg sa doole jooju day wàññeeku doole jooj bi muy wàññeeku xel dafa nangu diina it nangu ne war naa fekk sa doole ji wàññeeku am na feneen foo ko def foo xam ne li nga bëgg a tëlee si moom moo la koy defal par exemple nit ki nga xam ne dem na ba néew doole waaye fekk na am na doom joo xam ne taxaw na kon dafay mel ni tëlewut dara am na loo daan yëkkati démba maanaam da nga daan yëkkati par exemple 20 kilos waaye tey mënuma koo yëkkati lu tax because dama néew doole because dama mage waaye am nga doom joo xam ne moom mun naa yëkkati 40 kilos su boobaa kon yow sa doole jooja dafa am fum ne dafa am koo ko defal dégg nga su bëri li nga tëlee woon léegi kooku moom moo la koy manal ñaareel bi teg ci itam doom ju ne wala nit ku ne li muy ñaan yàlla mooy nga njëkk fee jógee sa njaboot nga dee baxi fi sa njaboot soo njaboot mooy continuity su njaboot amut nit ki su fi jógee rek léppam jeex na soo yooyu yëpp dafa noobul diine xool ko bët bu am solo bu rëy ba tax na képp koo xam ne da ngay dugg ci sëy te yii moo la tax a dugg ci sëy kon yaa ngi bàyyi sa xel sa borom yaa ngi bàyyi xel yàlla ki nga xam ne yii moo tax muy sëy kooku mu ngi bàyyi xel yàlla ndem mu ngi bàyyi xel yàlla nag sëyam boobu li ñu séentu mooy dafay baax te dafay rafet ndax ki bàyyi xel yàlla dana bàyyi xelit lan la ko yàlla sant ci kii nga xam ne moom la ko dénk moo xam jigéen ji la wala góor gi ndax ay rights ak responsibilities moo fa ne xam nga ne suma jabar mii maa ko jëlee kër papaam ci kër laa ko génnee kon dama ko war a dugal kër daf daan lekk ba suur kon dama ko war a lexal daf daan solu dama ko war a solal am na li tax mu génn kër papaam manul ko am kër papaam mooy lal bi kon dama ko war a jox lal bi mooy dama war a tëdd ak moom te itam ni ko woy juróom yi bëggee woon di ko taxawu duñ ko saaga duñ ko dóor without genuine reason su boobaa yow itam di same thing noonu ngay jëflantee su boobaa ànd bi dafay neex lool te rafet lépp nekk diine beneen side bi am na waaye mooy ñi nga xam ne amuñ connexion ak yàlla doomu aadama su amul connexion ak yàlla lépp lu mu def rek dafay nekk ngelaw waaw because lépp loo xam ne dañ ko tabax ci kaw bànneexu bakkan du am mucc ba pare du neex indi sens ne neex amut neex ak naqari amut déedéet nit ki li nga miin la ba dunda ko am na koo xam ne li neex ci moom yow neexut la par exemple am na koo xam ne tey su guddi jotee feek soluhut dem ca baaba
waaw di
tëb di fecc ba bër set dafay wax ne bés bi neexut waaye ndax yow loolu neex na la yow kooku yaa ngi ko yërëm ki nga xam ne dafay toog ba fajar ci jamono sedd mu jóg sangu jàpp di dem sa jàkka ja loolu neexut ci bakkan waaye ki jógee ci baa bi su jógee ci baa bi dajeeg yow moom daf lay yërëm because sedd bi yaa ngi génn di dem si jàkka ji yow yaa ngi ko yërëm ne mu ngi jël waxtum bi yëpp mu ngi ko faj kon neex ak naqari amut li la neex la ak li la naqari su fekkee ne nag li la neex ak li la naqari dafa dëppoo ak li neex yàlla ak li ko naqari su boobaa kon yow yaa nekk ci right direction kële moo nekk ci wrong direction say yow sa bos dafa am mucc maanaam nu muy gën di demee di gën di neex ngay gën di bég muy am mucc nga di ci gis bénéfice kii nu mu gën a demee muy gën di naqari di gën di soof muy gën a te du ci mos a gis bénéfice moom ci boppam sax day dem ba réccu lim nekkoon waaye yow doo mos a réccu li nga xam ne moom nga nekkoon maanaam bële amul mucc waaye bii am na mucc.
ok continue ba pare am na fu ma bëgg a ñëwee. si beneen side
su boobaa da nga am koo xam ne moom bi muy sëy moo xam góor gi wala jigéen ji moom daal li ko ci neex rek mooy diw sàngam mi bugg na ko bugg goo xam ne yàlla xelam dajut yàlla de waaye xam na ne mënta am ci moom bànneex lu dul ci buntab sëy rek ma takk ko rek ngir di mën a am bànneex boobu just that kooku du sàmmati àq yi nga xam ne mooy dox digganteem ak soxnaam soosu yoonam nekku ci ndax moom am na ci njaboot amut ci njaboot te it ànd gi muy ànd ak moom itam du ko sangee du ko tere mën naa gisaatit keneen koo xam ne xelam mën na ceene mu dem def ci moom kon kii li tax mu sëy dégg nga
waaw
bànneexu bakkan am keneen koo xam ne social pressure bi nga wax nii mooy diw sàngam moom mu ngi toog rek sëyut for exemple loolu danay xew ci góor danay xew ci jigéen
waaye si jigéen ñi la day gën a bari nag
danay gën a bari
waaw
léegi loolu nag daf lay indil wrong option wrong choice moom la lay sababal because nit ki nga xam ne pressure bi dafa diis ci moom mu ne man forcé ren danaa sëy kooku la muy tànn si dootu nekkati soo moytu du baax xanaa yàlla dimbale ko rek danay dal góor ñi ci benn mbir bi ci gën a bare mooy nga yéex a sëy ba nit ñi commencé di okkante naa waa kii ndax kii foog ngeen ne góor la am du góor ndax kii foog ngeen ne góor la am du góor wala kii sax ndax am na dara lum takkee sëy léegi mu bugg a fenloo nit ñi tax mu dem dugg ci biir sëy boobu loolu dafa rong nit ki lépp looy def na nekk loo xam ne da nga koy decide te décision balaa nga ko jël da nga ko war a jàng bu baax xool circumstances yi wër mbir mi yëpp nga xam ne li ngay dugg si yow la en la boo xam ne yow yaa koy enu kenn du la ko enul su boobaa bu la ko kenn defloo bu la ko leen nit defloo si jigéen ñi ñoom itam danay happen lu bare te si jigéen ni ko bala waxee foofu la gën a bare te fi la gën a dangereux ndax jigéen ñaare su toogee ci society moromam ñi bokkatoon classe collègue samsi ñëpp sëy nañ nga ne ci office for exemple nga gis ne ñi ngi fi duggatoon ne fi nekkatoon kenn ñëpp sëy nañ for exemple waaye yow yàlla wër sa gëlagula nga sëy loolu wax yi nekk ci biti parce que li ëpp ci nit ñi rawatina say parents ñoom dañuy foog ne da nga nekk di dàqee da nga buggut a sëy waaye jëkkëram fi ñaareel ñu bari ci parents yi loolu la ñuy foog jëkkëram fi waaye yow yaa buggut a sëy waaye because dañoo gis ne dara wàññeeku ci yow dañoo gis ne ku rafet nga dañoo gis ne ku nangam nga pour ñoom sa lépp mu ngi correct kon lu tere ngay sëy te góor ñaa ngi ci mbedd mi rawatina suñ gisee ne góor ñi ñu ngi wax ak yow ngay am ay frais nag di dem di dikk kon ñoom il faut léegoo-lee ñu woo la ne la bàyyi li ngay def te nga sëy taxawaalu bi baaxul nangam ak nangam fii la xari jaar
imam time bi jeex na xam naa ne
ay yow fi gën a am solo ma dugg
waaw léegi yow li fi naan rek kuy gis
ma raap dégg nga de kooku dana gis ne loolu dana ko mën a dana koy sëyloo moo xam pression bi dafay jógee ci parents sami ca kër ga wala pression bi sax duhut luñ lay wax waaye mental pressure waaw maanaam naka la ma nit ñi xoolee fi ne nii suma morom ñëpp sëy nañ naka la ma nit ñi xoolee wala sa yenn ñi nga xam ne sax sa noon lañ léegoo-léeg sax ñuy gaaru xaalante yooyu ndawaan yooyu nga xam ne dañuy sànni baat yooyu yëpp mën na laa forcer ba tax loo parewutoon a def léegi nga def ko bu boobaa ka ngay tànn si am na koo daan bañ sax de ne bugguma sëy ak moom waaye léegi da nga ko nangu ngir pression boobu nga xam ne moo la ci dugal at the end of the day nag li ci ëppa soo moytu da nga koy réccu ca mujj ga kon sëy jamonoob tey ci diggante sunna ak pression ci somari loolu lañ ci mën a joxe tey
dëgg la jërëjëf thank you very much lii lañ amoon si programme bi tey Bala Musa thank you very much Imam Jah thank you very much waaye génération bi dañ jaxase boot sunna social pressure yëpp lañ indi
waaw su waxtu bi yaatu woon incha allah
waaw so kon ñu ne lii lañ leen amal tey dinañ fi dellu si soobee yàlla ëllëg si beneen programme bi this morning until then bye bye